Teams meetings. Can you guys all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I have this unfortunate thing that has happened to me. Thankfully, I have multiple computers. Right now, I'm working on my desktop computer. It's a Mac Mini. But my laptop, my regular Mac laptop, which I'm going to be using for this presentation on Saturday, it doesn't charge. It stopped charging.
can you change the charging cable?
I didn't change the card cable, but usually I had to unplug the cable quite a bit. I have to take apart the cable and unplug it and replug it back in, and it'll start recharging. That didn't work this time, and now my computer has 1% battery, and I don't know why it stays on, but sometimes it turns off. So I'm gonna go just buy a Mac computer tonight, and then I'm gonna use it for the presentation, and then I'm gonna return it after I get back.
Sounds crazy. Maybe you should first buy a new cable.
That's also a good idea. It's just because we're going tomorrow. We're leaving tomorrow morning, and then I'm driving there. I'm bringing my family to Hangzhou. So actually tomorrow, the whole day is going to be busy because I'm going to be with the kids. So I might not have an opportunity tomorrow to go take care of stuff. So I don't have enough time to buy the cable and test it out. It's true, but then I have to return it. I have to be able to return it. Because maybe it's a temporary issue. Hold on, I'm just gonna get some water real quick. I'll be right back.
Yes. How is GPTs? Did you tell me yesterday to have a look?
Yes, you didn't turn on your microphone.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I got time to have a look yesterday, but so I'm not really impressed because I see it to be it's something I was already doing. So it's like it's prompt engineering, right? And already I have like on my ChatGPT, I have sections where I do particular tasks. So I have one page that does only like I put in any text, then it can check the grammatical errors for me and check if the sentence structure is correct. And I have another one that I can just ask it for an essay, right? And it can generate an essay for me every day. And that's what I see like the GPTs doing. So I wasn't really impressed. And how I used it yesterday, I didn't get the results I wanted, but I think I have to do more. I have to change some of the prompts to get it. I wasn't impressed.
I have the same feeling. It's only okay.
Yeah. It's I think it's if you were using ChatGPT in a certain way before, like if you create your own page and you give it a prompt the first time and you tell it that okay, every day this is what I'll just use this one dedicated for. It's just like you setting setting the GPTs. It's only that this time you don't have to use the same page over and over again. You can just start a new one always, and like that's what makes it nice. But I'm not really impressed.
But what about the functions? I thought the functions are like similar to agents and agent tools.
Yeah, so I didn't add any. I've not added any actions to it yet. So what I set it up, I want to put in a PDF document about a particular lesson. Then it generates questions for me. So you ask the number of questions you generate. So it doesn't matter the language that the document is in. So the document I used was Chinese. Then I wanted 20 questions, generate the questions in English, but then it could always generate like 3 or 5. I want to preview like three or 5. Then append the other 20 to the PDF. They tried to use code to do it, but it was never successful. But I have to do more prompting to make sure maybe if it can do it, then maybe I'll be impressed. But now, disappointed.
I'm just going to wait maybe 1 or 2 more minutes to see if anyone else wants to join, because I shared it in our group before we start fully, if that's okay. I've always had this issue on my computer, but I don't have this issue on my phone. If you guys can see my screen. Do you guys see my screen? Yeah. What I was sharing with Lucas, Shirley, you shared with me the reimbursement expenses. And I was playing around with it because I wanted to, because you know how we have the reimbursement expenses across different tabs. And I wanted to try to combine all of it into one single table. And I found that GPTs, or like assistant APIs, which is the same thing, if you prompt it properly, actually it does it really well. But if you don't prompt it properly, actually it's not able to parse through those Excel files nicely. Maybe it's my VPN. Let's try a different one.
Can you put yourself now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get started. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to join our ChatGPT workshop. Today, I'm going to be sharing some quite unique tips on how to use large language models, or ChatGPT, for specific work functions. So this is our agenda for today. First, I'm just going to share a little bit about me and about my company, Long AI, and what we do. And then next, I'm going to open up this workshop and I'm going to sort of cement it with a scenario, or like what's it called? A case study. We're going to pretend that we're going to be opening up or managing a chain of coffee shops in Hangzhou. And we can use that scenario to sort of guide us through using these unique functions in ChatGPT. So once we have that set, then I'll walk through just 3 sort of main functions. There's so many things you can do with ChatGPT or large language models, but I'm going to try to just reduce it down to just about 3 for now. And hopefully we can kind of cover a couple different aspects, tangents, when I go over these things. Hi, Neil. Welcome. No, you don't have to talk, but just want to welcome you. By the way, the rest of the people on here are our team at Long AI. Neil, I've spoken to you guys about a bit. I've met Neil quite a few times, and Neil's on this journey with us to try to build a library of use cases for large language models. And he's also talking to a lot of enterprise customers about how to use large language models in the workplace.
Hey guys, thanks for organizing this. Also awesome.
We just started just quickly. This is just almost a dry run, really. I have a talk coming up on Saturday, but we're going to be sharing use cases for ChatGPT. And this is for the TechCom conference coming up in Hangzhou this Saturday. So just to reiterate, today we're just going to do a quick intro, and then we're going to cement ourselves with a scenario, so we can then go through some of these use cases and see how the use cases are applied in our scenario. First one, we're going to talk about maybe using ChatGPT to structure our thinking, and also maybe to create some formatted documents. And second one, we're going to be using the code interpreter to do some data analytics. And then finally, we're going to use some of the new functionality, which is GPT Vision, to help us create a website or a dashboard. And you can sort of think of this as sort of also covering many different functions or departments within a large organization. So this can cover from strategy to finance to the data analytics team to IT to even HR. So quite a wide range of people can be using these tools today. Okay. So just a quick intro about me and my company that I work with. My name is Ching. I'm from the United States originally. I've been in China for 5 years now. I started my career in management consulting at PwC and McKinsey. And then when I moved to Shanghai 5 years ago, I started my company Young in AI, where I continue to help medium-sized to large-scale enterprises with advanced analytics, AI solutions, software, and consulting projects. And most recently, we've started this company, Long AI, where we specifically bring large language model technologies to enterprise. So on the right, you can just see a screenshot of one of our demo bots that we built. This one does data analytics, for example. Okay. So today's workshop is going to be quite collaborative. It's going to be a live demo, which means it's going to fail, which it always does. But we're going to start with a scenario, pretend that we're going to be the managers of a chain of coffee shops in Hangzhou. And let's call this chain Greenbucks. And we want to make our chain of coffee shops more sustainable. Okay, so we want to implement sustainable practices in our cafes while maintaining profitability or increasing profitability. Okay, that's our goal. And we're going to be using large language models to help us with this goal. So like I said, we're going to go over three main use cases, or three use cases kind of covering a couple different functions. And I'm going to then pull up ChatGPT and work with it live. And I know everyone in this room here has worked with ChatGPT before. Oh, sorry, I think someone is trying to join. Oh no, okay. Lucas, are you able to see the admin view of this? And can you see if anyone else joins? And would you be able to help me add if they do? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let's start with the first use case. The use case here is, one, as the manager of this coffee shop, I have a lot of ideas for how I want to improve my coffee shops to make them more sustainable. And I've written down all these ideas that I've collected over time. Maybe I attend conferences like TechCom. And as I'm sitting through these conferences, I just jot down these thoughts, these ideas. Oh, maybe we should be having more sustainable napkins. How do I think about energy? Should we be tracking our energy usage? Water usage? How do we separate our trash? Should we be doing more recycling here and there? And I write these down quickly in my phone, and so it's not structured. Every time I kind of go back to notes like these, I do this often. I often don't understand what I'm saying anymore because it's just, sometimes one word notes. ChatGPT happens to be very good at figuring out what you're trying to say. And so what you can do is you can actually just copy and paste these notes into ChatGPT and have it structured for you. So I'm going to do that right now. Please organize these notes. Now, all of you guys have used ChatGPT, so you guys know that this is a very basic functionality. But if you have not used ChatGPT before, this is actually a really, really good way to start off with ChatGPT. A very good basic functionality. It's a very good way to structure your thinking, to help elaborate on your thinking. So you can see that very quickly it's already come out with an outline of what I'm saying. And let's just read it quickly. Waste management recycling. Implement reusable cups to reduce waste. Yes. So it's putting full sentences to my half-baked thoughts. Usually, before ChatGPT, of course, it would take me an hour to organize these notes. I have to kind of rewrite them, edit them, make them grammatically correct. But here, within a couple seconds, it's done all of that for me. It's able to also guess what I've been trying to say. Assess the current water usage and explore ways to reduce it. Yes, kind of figure it out from this sentence here somehow. So it's very good at that. But we're going to go one level deeper here. Actually, what I want to put together a project plan for how to implement these across my 12 different stores. Okay, I need a proper plan. I need to document this. And usually I write down, structured documents. Maybe I might follow some methodology, maybe like the Agile framework to do so. And they always have like some sort of format you can fill in. But here we can actually ask ChatGPT to fill it in for us using my ideas. So I happen to have the ChatGPT methodology. Let me just pull it up here. And this is sort of a framework. Of course, ChatGPT has written this for me, but this is kind of close to what that framework is. And I want to answer all these questions as I document my project here, so I can share this document with all my different stores so they understand where we're going with this. So, a vision statement is very important, so everyone is aligned. Assembling a team, yes, I'm going to do that, plan execute sprints, and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this in to ChatGPT. And I'm going to say, can you follow this framework and build a project plan for my sustainability efforts? And notice I misspelled sustainability. So what it's doing here is I'm grounding the context, which means that I'm giving ChatGPT some truth to work off of. It's going to repeat that truth back to me. So it's going to mimic that same format that I gave it, and then fill in the blanks using these notes that I gave it earlier. Vision statement: to transform green bucks coffee shops into models of environmental sustainability. Great. Objectives: I didn't write down any objectives myself, but it kind of filled it in for me, and I can edit it from here. But just having this written out for me so that I can think about it and then play with it actually is very helpful. Reduce overall waste by 30% within 1 year. Maybe I would say, okay, maybe I need to be a little more specific about waste. What kind of waste do I do by tonnage? But yeah, that actually sounds like a pretty decent goal to start with. Source 100% free fair trade coffee. Cool. Decrease energy usage by 20%. It's not bad. Okay. And it can already guess sort of what my team composition might be. I do have baristas, I have managers, I do have marketers, yes. And then it suggests some roles for them and so forth. So actually I can almost take this thing and have a copy and paste button here and create a document that I can then now share more widely with my team. And we can collaborate on this document together. But this was like a very good first step. Any questions so far about what we're doing? Seems pretty straightforward, yeah? Okay, I'm gonna go into the next advanced step, and we're gonna do the same thing again, but we're gonna use some new feature that ChatGPT had recently relaunched, which is called GPTs. And to do so, we're going to click Explore, and then we're going to create a new GPT. GPT is basically a custom ChatGPT for you. You give it some customized instructions, and it will automatically respond with those instructions. So for example, what you can do is you can include this outline in the instructions. And so every time you ask this new custom GPT, it will use that same instructions over and over again. So I've already done so, but this is the new GPT creation page. I've already done so, and it's called the Agile Guide. And I can then use this time and any other time that I want to create a project plan using the Agile methodology. Please create a project plan. So now this Agile Guide custom GPT already has that framework built into its instruction set. And it's going to use that same framework. So you don't have to copy and paste it into the context. But fundamentally, it's doing the same thing as copying and pasting it into this context window here. So that's sort of how you can use GPTs, which is maybe some of you might have had questions about it. A lot of people haven't used it yet. That's as far as I think it's useful for. And so far, we'll see whether or not it's very useful in the future. Okay, good. So yeah, that's our first use case. Very good first strategy. Here we built a project plan and we cleaned up our notes. It's organized our thoughts. We can ground the output format in the context or with GPTs. You can do this with meeting notes. You can, create outline presentation outlines. You can draft up the emails based off of incoherent thoughts. You can build plans. You can do documentation if you have a specific documentation format. You can plug that format in, and then this will fill it in for you, and so forth. So it's quite wide ranging in where you can use this. I'll be sharing this document later with everyone, so you guys all have a copy of this. Anything you guys want to try with the GPT before I move on to use case 2? You guys okay? Cool. Second use case, we're going to analyze data now. Okay, the scenario is we have a point of sale transaction download list from one of our stores. It has all the sales that we've made in the year 2022. And we're thinking about introducing this program to encourage customers to use our reusable cups or bring their own cup. And maybe we'll give them a 1 kwai, 2 kwai, or 4 kwai discount if they do so. I want to see how much would this cost us if we were to do that. Okay. So traditionally, let me pull up the window. Traditionally, so this is the data here. We have, our product name, the price, the total price of it, how much have we sold, and the dates of when we sold it. Now, traditionally, to do this, maybe you need a data analyst, or you can try to do this yourself. You would have to maybe do some formulas in the columns here, figure out how to reshape this thing, create a new file. Of course, you don't want to deal with the raw data on its own file itself. You want to create a new file, and so forth. So it might take you about an hour to figure out this analysis. But ChatGPT can also do this for you. So all we have to do is upload the data, and ChatGPT is going to open up a safe coding environment where it's going to run code for you to do the analysis for you. And so I'm going to give the instructions for what I want to do. So I'm saying to ChatGPT, we're thinking of giving $1, $2, or $4 discount to customers who buy our coffee and use reusable cups. Can you tell me how much this would cost us in this marketing cost if we compared it to all of our drinks that we sold in 2022? Also use different uptake rates, like 30%, 50%, and 70%, meaning maybe only 70% of customers take up this offer. And so what ChatGPT is going to do is going to write some code in the background, and it's going to run that code against our data like it's a database. And then it's going to output the analysis for us. So again, traditionally, what you do is maybe you send this data, if you have a larger data set, or if you have a huge database, it's complicated, you send this to your data analysis team. And they take an hour to a day to a week to get you back this analysis. But here you're getting it back in 30 seconds or a minute. So, okay, cool. So it wrote some code. Here's the output of the code. And it's sort of describing what the data is to us and to themselves as well. And then it's going to go to the next step and says, okay, now we're going to apply different discount rates and uptake rates to the estimate of the cost of the discount. So notice that I also only just said something like to the effect of all drinks. So ChatGPT also has to figure out which of these products are drinks, because not all of them are drinks. Like this is Americano, yeah, this drink, but this is a cake. And we don't have a category, or we do have a type actually. Yeah, we do have a category here. So we have coffee here. This is drinks. So yeah, here's some desserts. So it's gonna have to filter out these desserts as well. So let's see if it does that. Okay, cool. So now it's giving me some figures. So it's saying that if I give the biggest discount and the uptake is the highest, it's gonna cost me about 206,000 RMB. Let me just get a sense of what my store made last year. In Excel, this is an easy calculation. You can kind of just sum across this top column here. And that's what they did here as well. So only made 190,000. So that's actually wrong, because how can it cost me 206,000 when I only made 190,000? And sometimes it does this.
I think the problem is that the data is in RMB, so $4 discount with the coffee like $3, then it would be like negative. So I think it can make sense. Because I think the discount is too high because it's in dollar, but in RMB.
But if I just take 4 off of here, it should be 22. Oh, I don't know how to solve for this in the live demo. Let's ask ChatGPT. Okay, so it's focusing on total number of drinks sold. So maybe that's where they did it, made a mistake. Okay, 6,000. Yeah, actually no. This is in line with my previous analysis. So yeah, about 6,400 kwai. It's using dollar signs here, but actually we're using kwai. Okay, cool. So good. So the numbers came out wrong the first time around. You tell it, and it actually corrects itself based off of what you observe. You don't have to tell it what it did wrong because you don't know itself. But ChatGPT also figures it out itself. So yeah, this is the correct answer. Anything else that you guys want to see with this analysis?
Can you make a chart with this technology?
Okay, yes. So maybe do you want to see, let's see, what kind of chart? Can you show me sales by month in a chart? Let's do revenue by month. You can make charts with ChatGPT. And you can also clean the data with ChatGPT or with large language models. And we'll do that in the next step. So here it's still writing out code, and it's going to write out this code that outputs charts and automatically creates that chart for you. And there's a lot of different customizations, like the color of the bars that you can also dictate to it. Okay, cool. So actually now I see February has high sales. That's good. Previously, I was mentioning that we need to make sure that it doesn't include desserts. I think it did include desserts, and we can help correct it. So let's say, I'm going to ask it to put it in a table format for me, so it doesn't just write it all out with the analysis. Okay, so now it's only going to just include the coffee, or or coffee. Let's see, yeah. So it's only going to include coffee drinks, or drinks that contain the word coffee. Maybe that might not be right either. Maybe you also want like 美式 or 拿铁, which isn't included. I think it does because actually it's here. But here's a table format that I asked for. And it can easily be copied and pasted into my presentation as well. So yeah, okay. So that's analysis with large language models. So we can do analysis, we can create graphs, we can clean the data and download it. Maybe for these numbers here, we actually want to run B sign by them. Like, for example, if you want to do that yourself, if you know how to work with Excel, you can do like equals this plus, and then you have to put the yen sign. Is it this one? Or how do you concat it? Okay, it was and, right? The other way around. So if you do that, you can go all the way down, copy and paste. Here it's just going to do that for me. Just going to add that yen symbol for me. And you can do much more complicated data cleaning with it as well. Anything else you guys want to see? So maybe for me as a business owner, 10,000 RMB per year. Sorry, go ahead.
So you know, you already knew what data you had. I'd say that a lot of people would want to have an overview of the data in the Excel before they even decided what to include or exclude. So you can even ask it as an intermediate step, you know, give me the different categories. This way you can know what query you can ask later. Yeah. Because a lot of businesses don't know. I mean, they have huge Excels, but they don't actually know the different categories that they have, or the person operating the Excel might not know the business as well. So categories of purchase, just not even food.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see how far it goes. Because you know, when you said clean the data, the thing that makes me suspicious is, you know, data engineering itself requires probably 70% of the data workload. It really is the more massive job, is how do you get no garbage in? And I'm not sure what are GPT's criteria for cleaning data, because GPT was primed in a certain way through its training, you know, basically recurrent training to perform certain functions. It doesn't know your data, your context, and it doesn't know how to figure out, you know, if there are missing values in your table or there are erroneous values in your table. There's just no way it can find outliers, and it can find things that might be specific to your industry or business. So that's one of my concerns about data cleaning. Everybody wishes it could do that, and I think data scientists would, especially new graduates, would cry if it could do that well. But I'm curious as to you have an analytics background. What is your perception on the value of data cleaning?
No, I think you're absolutely right. One of the first steps that we always do is we just do a holistic view of the data. So we do look at those outliers. We look to see if we're missing values. We look to see if the data is skewed in any certain way, if the data format is correct. See if the data is dirty. Like maybe sometimes some of the values should be the same, but they're always different because it's human input. Just random things like this. So yeah, okay, here we go. So for example, here they've already kind of picked out that there's 3 different naming conventions for coffee. Maybe they mean the same thing.
You can even ask it to standardize. Yeah. You can even ask it to standardize names, so to make sure that if your team wanted to take a look at the Excel, it wouldn't have too many. They could filter without a problem, not have like 10 results in a filter instead of 3. Yeah, I've had to play around. I'm not a data scientist, but I've had to play around with data, and it's excruciating task. And I love the fact that it can detect the different versions of coffee, spelling, caps, and all. You know, I like the fact that it's able to specify what it does. I just don't know if, like, handling outliers, decide whether to keep, remove, or adjust. Sure, based on what criteria do you consider as an outlier? Because it already calculated how many standard deviations it's away from the you know, the average the mean value. I mean, how does it know? Does it tell you? So can you talk to me more about outliers? Ask it that, more about your outlier process. At what point you consider a number to be an outlier? Give me an example. Can it do that?
So I can do the basic analysis for you, which is also what we usually do. And then usually it's actually just a business judgment or human judgment to identify whether or not we should be keeping these points. Obviously, then we look into it to see what this is. And of course, it's going to skew our data if we do an average all the time. So that's why we kind of end up going with medians a lot, especially if we have these outliers that are true. So I know from the data, I have looked at this data before, that these are like one-time specialty gifts. And so they are correct. These have been sold. Here, it's a little bit more complicated because actually there's a lot of sort of, whisker plot outliers, meaning it's beyond the 75th percentile here.
Yeah.
So is it really an outlier? Not really. It's actually kind of part of it. It does require a lot of judgment. I don't know if you can ask ChatGPT for recommendations for what it would do. So it's from Foxpop for total amount. Yeah, so this is total revenue. And I guess maybe these come out when people buy multiple cups or multiple products. So they would just multiply the unit price. I think this makes sense. And this also makes sense. So maybe say, for example, you want to figure out what is the average price of my products, weighted by how much have we sold. Maybe I would take out these outliers for that analysis, just because maybe it's not indicative of the average price. It's just a one-off thing, and it's very far out, so we'll kind of drag up the average a little bit. Thanks, Neil. Good thoughts. Mm-hmm. Anything else with use case 2, doing data analytics? So as a previous data scientist, I find this feature extremely, extremely powerful. It's super powerful. Right now, ChatGPT can deal with CSVs and Excel files. But what companies actually really want is they want a secure connection to their company databases, which ChatGPT Enterprise might offer, but it's not available in China. And also, companies might not trust OpenAI. And so that's sort of where other third parties can come in and try to install some sort of custom solution for enterprise. And we've proven that it can be done as well. Okay, let's move on to the final use case for today. Today, we're going to use also a new, very fun feature from ChatGPT, which is GPT Vision. So here's the scenario. We've decided that we want to introduce this reusable cup program. And so we need to encourage all of our baristas to push this program when they sell to customers. So when customers come to the cashier, we're expecting our baristas to ask them or encourage them to use reusable cups in whatever way they think is fitting. And so part of this program is we're going to just create a simple dashboard. We think this will be somewhat effective in the change management that we need across our multiple stores. And this dashboard, I'm thinking, is maybe a very simple one. Maybe we just track the number of reusable cups or cups that we've saved. Sorry. Here we go. So I kind of just drew out like a simple dashboard that I want to see and build for this. And I said, maybe just our name at the top, and then maybe just one number at the left will track the number of cups that we've saved from using reusable cups. And then maybe this is our 2024 goal. I think 500 is actually too low. We'll change it to 5,000. And then maybe I also just want like a progress bar for the year. This is our progress so far on the cups that we've saved total. And this is our year progress. So we can see if we're behind or ahead. And of course, I want this to be dynamic. This should be updated and connected to our point of sale system. ChatGPT can help us build this pretty quickly. And actually just by uploading this hand-drawn image that I made. So let's upload that image here. Here's my drawing, okay? I want to build a dashboard. And you can upload the drawing and then they'll kind of figure out what you want to do, but it's always good to communicate more with our large language model overlords. People call this prompt engineering. I personally just call it communicating. Just like if you were to work with someone else and you were to give them just a picture and if you didn't say anything else, they wouldn't know what to do. Same thing with these chatbots. It's good to give as much information as possible and be clear and succinct. Or you don't have to necessarily be succinct, but at least be clear and articulate with what you want. I want to show my baristas the progress we've made. Uh-oh, I accidentally pushed enter. Let's do this again. Let's start over. I want to build a simple dashboard that shows how many reusable cups we've used in our chain of coffee shops in Hangzhou. Can you help me build this simple dashboard with HTML? And so notice I only give it this much information in text, and it has to pull the rest of what I want from this image. And what it's going to do is it's going to hopefully parse this image and understand what I'm trying to do. And let's see if it can recreate it in HTML. Okay, cool. So starting here with HTML.
Just a comment, but before you even ask it to do all that work, you might want to understand if it identifies the elements of your picture, so that you know that it's going to build the HTML code based on the specifics that you wrote. Because you have vertical lines on your paper, so the word goal, the L does not appear. I noticed, and some other details you might want to. Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe we first ask ChatGPT to tell me what it thinks it sees on this paper. And then once we confirm that, then we ask to write its code.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what it outputted anyways. So this is HTML. And I think maybe sometimes they tell you, if you don't know how to code, it'll tell you what to do with this. Not this time, but last time I did. And so what you can do is you can just save the HTML as a document. I'm going to pull up my code thing here. Actually, you could use text editor. Text edit, new document, and just save this as text and save it as an HTML file.
Okay, I do have a question. So
yes,
with the functionality of the vision, can you also allow it to show you an image? Because if you were to give it to a designer, the designer will first do the design, then maybe wireframe, then the main design before the programmer looks on the design to do the coding. So can you go through the same process too?
To make an image of it.
Yeah, to see the final output before it starts coding.
Okay, let's try it. Hey, it didn't work this time. It just output the actual HTML. How do I get this to work? Maybe this didn't work. Maybe text edit doesn't work. I'm going to pull up my code here.
Ask GPT the process to get the HTML to work if you copy paste it into a Word and then save as.
Yeah, we'll try your method next. Yeah, so Notepad on Windows, text edit on Mac, save the file with HTML extension. Yes.
Oh, you're on Mac?
I'm going to save.
Oh.
Yes, Mac. It worked last time. It didn't work today, which is what happens in my live demos all the time. I'm just going to quickly do it on my code, but it should work on your computers. Here we go. Cool. This is a website, guys, that ChatGPT has just created for me very quickly. It has some styling. It has the bars. It's not exactly perfect because what I wanted was the cup saved on the left and 2024 goal on the right. It only has one progress bar, but actually we can chat with it and say and give instructions.
Wait, it worked now?
Yes. So I'm saying here, actually, let's fix the website a little bit. I want the 24 goal to be on the right, just like I drew it over here. It should be on the right side. And the actual progress bar to be on the left. Also, I want the user to be able to update the cup saved. And then the progress bar should also update based off of that. So let's see if it does that. Of course, eventually I want the number to be connected to our point of sale systems, but actually now this is going beyond ChatGPT's capabilities because we need to connect it with our actual systems. So you can really see that now more and more people can build technical products or digital products without needing to learn how to code. Of course, learning how to code is still useful because you can debug this a little bit more. Sometimes it doesn't come out correct and you might want to look through the code and understand what it is, but it's actually not fully required anymore because you can just talk with ChatGPT with natural language. So let me save this in my code here. And we can should you be able to refresh, and let's see if the updates come through. Here we go. Okay, it's not exactly what I was looking for, but a little bit closer. Now we have a field where we can update the number. It doesn't update the bar here. And maybe we can go through ChatGPT and go through a few more iterations. But this is far faster than actually me as a developer doing this myself. ChatGPT has done it very, very quickly. Let's go to Yal's question. Yal's wanted to see if we can have ChatGPT output an image or design of my requirements. So I asked it, can you give me an image of high fidelity design based on my drawing? Kind of like the ones you see on Figma, which is what a lot of designers like to use. There's nothing that you can also do with this vision capabilities. Actually, if you have maybe like a picture of your coffee shop and you want to critique its interior design, you can upload those pictures and have ChatGPT critique for you and give you suggestions for how to improve the design of the layout. Maybe you have coffee mugs that you want to buy and have some sort of design on there. You can have it critique those designs for you. Okay, so here's an image from ChatGPT. It's not exactly what I'm looking for because I know how ChatGPT works. Actually, this image generation is a little bit, they fill in a lot of blanks for you. So it doesn't give you exactly what you want.
Question about the fact that it can write words into the image. Diffusion models have had enormous difficulty writing. Even when you spell out a 4-letter word in capital letters, you say, I want these 4 letters written on a brick wall. It's not going to write it. It's going to write you either long or short gibberish. How is it that it was able to achieve this now? What's this change?
It's a good question. I had no idea. And I'm also very, very impressed. It's funny because, you know, it's 2024. This is really good. Cup saved is really good. Usually you will see stuff like this. It's almost saying reusable, kind of looks like it. But it's kind of off. Saved is also a little bit funny because of the A there. Your progress is pretty much there. Total progress. It's total progress. Yeah, it's actually improved a lot. I don't know how they do it. It's pretty impressive.
I have a feeling it's written so well that you'd think that maybe it was creating a diffusion model that used a piece of image with that writing somewhere else where it was described in the tags of that image, and it says, well, we have to include that tag. So 2024, or the word saved might appear in a different image. Then you'd be, of course, facing copyright issues, because if that way of writing saved was actually copyrighted by somebody, trademarked by somebody, then you can't use it in your design, but you can use it as inspiration for designers to come up with something different. That's my best guess. I don't know the answer to that. That's why I was asking, but
yeah, I have no
my
idea.
feeling is it might be using bits of images from other images which represent the words that you're looking for.
I would think so as well. Yeah, it's beyond me. It is really impressive. It is. One more thing I want to show you guys on this use case here. So we were hand drawing stuff and asking ChatGPT to make a website based off of my drawing. So actually now this is real. Well, I think we saw this demo a couple months ago and we're all waiting for it to happen. Now it's actually here. It's real. This other site uses that same principle. So this is called tldraw.com. And it's kind of like a Figma where you can just draw stuff on this digital canvas here. You have a bunch of shapes, you can draw squares. So I kind of drew out my drawing. I have the bars here. Let's see if we can add some sort of like gimmick here. Let's maybe add some arrows. I don't know. Yeah, let's see. How do I flip this around? Okay, anyways, let's put this here and we'll kind of focus on that. Make it green. And I also added some instructions. And what you can do is you can drag all these elements and you can ask, and what you can use, it's going to use the same technology as, which is ChatGPT. It's going to use ChatGPT in the background. It's going to implement this and send this to their vision model again. It's going to then also then create the website here. Now, it's going to go based off this drawing here, and it's also kind of follow our instructions here. So I'm going to say that a user should be able to edit this number here, and this bar here will automatically update based off of the cups saved. Okay, so we can see it's sort of did the same thing. Let's see, let's open up on a new page. So this is actually a real website now. And yes, we can update this, it should. And as we update it, then the goal progress does change. Let's bring it up to 3,500. There we go, it's changed. It's got a little animation on it too. So here we've made yet another website in just a couple minutes. And actually, we can bring this over to our coffee chain now. It's pretty much ready as it is. Maybe just a few tweaks. Maybe this is hidden a little bit. Maybe fix it a little bit. But it's very, very powerful. This is my third time doing it. This is the previous two versions of it. I think this one was better, hey? This is also a website. This is pretty close. So yeah, so this is just an AI tool that uses that same GPT functionality in the backend, and you can use their drawing tool on this canvas to then create these websites. Super powerful. Okay, anything else about this use case here? We have a dashboard. We can send it to our baristas. Now we can track the reusable cups, and hopefully we can reach our sustainability goal. I do have a bonus use case, only if we have time. Let's see what time is it now. We have about 10 minutes left. This one is connecting ChatGPT with any API out there. Is this something you guys want to see?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So it turns out that actually ChatGPT can talk with any of your other digital services as long as it has an API, which means it has a digital connection. Then ChatGPT can actually work with it. So I'll show you an example where I connect it with my Gmail, and I'll ask it to write cold outreach emails to maybe other marketers because we want to market out our sustainability efforts. And I wanted to maybe save those drafts in my Gmail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use ChatGPT. They have this thing called plugins. which allows you to connect to any API. I'm going to connect to one called Zapier, which is a company that specifically helps you connect every other app out there with APIs. So you can connect your Airtable, your GitHub, your Slack, your Google Docs, anything with an API, you can connect and have it connect and do these automation tasks one after another. And so what I've done is I've connected then my Gmail to Zapier. Okay. Zapier is not so important, but it's just a way to connect it. So I'm going to say, can you please draft an email to send to marketers so we can promote the sustainability efforts of our coffee shops in Hangzhou. And what I'm hoping it will do is it will write the email and save it in the drafts of my Gmail folder. So then I can just review it. And if it's okay, then I'll send it out. It's filled in a lot of blanks for me. This email highlights the use of biodegradable materials, sourcing from ethical, sustainable farms, energy-saving practices, and so forth. They give me a link to just confirm that it can create this draft email in my inbox. And I'll say run. Yes, it can. Uh-oh. This always happens. Okay, here, 2 marketers. Let's fix this. Can you send it to Brian at example.com? So here's actually one of the downsides of ChatGPT or even large language models in general. It's actually kind of slow sometimes. And especially for specific tasks, actually it doesn't make sense to use large language models. For example, now I know exactly who I want to send it to, Brian at example.com. It's easier for me to obviously just put that into the email instead of telling ChatGPT to do it, because ChatGPT, what they have to do is actually they have to write out all these instructions again. So it takes about 30 seconds to do that. Okay, good. So fill in the 2. It has run the action. That means now it should show up in my draft, in my Gmail. So join us in promoting sustainable coffee culture in Hangzhou. Here it is. I hope this message finds you well. Fully written out email. Just review it, edit it, and I can send it. Done. So ChatGPT has this capability today. You can connect it with any API out there.
And you can also give it an Excel list of contacts and say, mail it to everyone under 25.
You can exactly do that, yes. Yeah.
Because it's only good for repeatable tasks. It's no good for one-time tasks, which you can easily reach yourself. So unless you like playing with it, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, actually.
Actually, for your demo, you could just, if you want to demo to people, you give an Excel with 5, 2 males, 3 females, and you say email it to the 3 emails in the Excel, and it'll identify the emails on its own and send it to the 3 people. Because if you had a database of 1,000 customers, then can you ask it to BCC everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you give it a list of 1,000 people, ask it for a specific subcategory, and then put it in BCC. Yeah. The whole point of demoing is to show how you can remove redundant and repetitive and burdensome tasks. So you need criteria to decide what is worthy and what is not.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like it has to write the whole email again. Okay, so I think it will do it. We'll come back to it later. so to conclude, we see that LLMs actually have a lot of different tool sets, a lot of different use cases, and you can use it across different functions. It can help us be more creative. It can help us be more productive. It gives us more control over digital tools. It makes a coder out of everyone. But it also has limitations. One, it's first of all inaccessible in China. It's also insecure. So if you have sensitive information, you don't want to be sending it to ChatGPT. And also more broadly, it's also sometimes slower than maybe existing workflows. You can't use it for everything, but there are very specific things that it does speed up your workflow tremendously. So maybe let me think about that point a little bit after what you said, no. So we hope that we can bring the best of LLM technologies to everyone so that everyone can be more productive. Thank you, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to add me. We also have an LLM for work group. And once you guys add me, then I'm happy to bring you guys in. We share more of these use cases there. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jing. Good initiative.
Thanks, Neil, for joining. I really appreciate all your questions. It's good to see you.
Pleasure. Same here. And nice to meet Lucas. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. I heard a lot about you. That you do some great stuff in Beijing.
Same here. You guys are always welcome to visit in the Jing. Yeah, the big capital.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys.
Okay, take care. Bye, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Jing, I would have some feedback.
Sure, good.
So let me just summarize it. So I think in general, great presentation, really well, really useful, and hopefully mind-blowing for most people. So I think it's great. I had problems to follow up the transition between the first generation of content and then the change to the project management tasks. For me, for 1 second, it was a little bit confusing why you now talk about project management. Because yeah, I just had problems to follow up, and then it took like 10, 15 seconds to understand what are you doing right now. Maybe just make it a little bit more smooth, how you transfer to the project management part of the first use case.
Yeah.
And then I think it's great that you showed this GPT. It's really interesting. And then basically the only point is that maybe the data analytics part you can directly do it in R&B, because
Okay.
one coffee is like 27 units, and I think it's just confusing if it should be R&B and then you talk it in dollar. So maybe just stay at R&B, then it should be all fine.
Do you know how to type RMB? Oh, you don't have to switch to Chinese. It's actually, let's see. I just switched to Chinese, right? There we go. Yep. Okay. I forgot how to type RMB. Okay.
And then maybe the only point is that I would add maybe a little bit more in terms of the limitations, because I think there are a lot of limitations why companies aren't using ChatGPT. They all go with Microsoft or even with some old solutions. So this was a little bit short.
Okay.
Because it's great maybe to understand, but still like in the industry, I think not many companies are actually using it, or they find a secure solution for this. So maybe it is a little bit longer, but besides this, I think it's good. That would be my feedback.
Thank you. This is very good feedback. Shirley, Yalls, what do you guys think?
Yeah, in general, it was a great presentation. The examples were also good. But with the GPTs, I think the GPTs just touched on it just a bit, and you moved. Yeah, maybe if you could also add the future of like GPTs. The use case, because for me, like I said earlier before the call, like I wasn't really impressed. But then when I think of how the future of it will be, is that for example, the GPT that you created, right, it's in a sense just like an app. If I want a specific app to do something, I'll just go to the app store and go and search for it, right?
Yeah.
If I want chat, because I quite remember when I started using ChatGPT, creating something, you have to do like a lot of prompts. And I see that's what GPTs is here for, to just replace what the work that some of us will be doing. Instead of me typing in all the prompt, I'll just go to the store and someone has already done it, right? And I'll just start using it. Yeah, so that's the only advantage I see now. Than everybody sitting down making their own GPTs. I don't think it still works for me. It still works. You have to know a lot of prompt engineering. Yeah, so maybe you can.
That's a really good point. I like it. Yeah, GPT is
so
like setting
maybe,
prompts. I like that.
Yeah, you can start. You can touch on that. Yeah, because it really takes time. It really takes time, and it looks like it's no code, but I doubt if you don't have experience with it, you won't get a desirable results. Yeah, so maybe you can try to scale the conversation to that section that if you are using it in a company and one person can build it, then that means everybody can use it. Then those who know how to build it will continue building it for us to continue using it. I think that will be how the future will be for GPTs, but we will have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's actually really good. Yes. Yeah, I don't know how to present GPTs, to be honest, because I'm also not that excited about GPTs. It's kind of useful, but not really yet. And I'm also trying to figure out what it's used for.
Oh, I think for me, I was excited. So I got excited when I used about like 1-2 days to watch almost every YouTube video about GPTs, and I was excited then. But then when I started making mine, and I realized no, this is something I've already been doing like with the same page, and also it took a lot of work, so I had to use like GPT to help me do the prompting, and I realized I may probably have to go and take a prompt engineering course to be able to use this effectively. So that I didn't get excited about that. So I still think those who are good with prompt engineering will like really enjoy that section. But if you don't really have like a lot of experience to know how to prompt it, you might not. Yeah.
Thank you, Els.
Yeah.
It's good feedback. Shirley, what do you think?
I think it's good. Yeah, just a little bit too long.
A little too long, right?
Yeah. Good luck with tomorrow, the presentation. Hope everything's good.
Thank you. It was just an hour, though.
Yeah.
I have 1 hour for the presentation, so maybe I should shorten it so that people can ask questions more.
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
Maybe also the questions also took the time because the questions were within the presentation, so I think that one also lengthened it somehow. So if maybe it will be presentation before questions, or maybe you do presentation for 10 minutes, then question, presentation, question, presentation, question.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. I also think it's too long. I think you're right. Okay. Good. Thank you, guys. It's good to see you guys.
See you.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.